Survival games are having a big moment in 2024, and the release of another major entry in that category has just launched. Nightingale, developed and published by Inflexion Games, looks to whisk players away to an alternate history Victorian era dictated by fantasy and whimsy. From its story to gameplay and release date, here's everything to know about Nightingale. As previously mentioned, Nightingale is a game set during the Victorian era, but in an alternate history, where humanity has pierced the veil to other realities known as the Fey Realms. For centuries prior to the start of the game, humans had a partnership with the Fey, intelligent creatures that inhabit these alternate dimensions. While this relationship began as one of reverence on the side of humanity towards the Fey, as humans began to learn the magic of these mystical beings, they eventually came to view themselves as equals. Ultimately, this pushed the Fae to recede to their realms and sever the connection to our world, but the seed of magic had already been planted. Humanity integrated that magic with their technology and built a portal network to traverse across the mystical worlds. At the center of it all was Nightingale, a human city founded on the magic of the portals. The inciting incident of Nightingale is the collapse of this network at the hands of a mysterious entity known as the Pale, stranding a large swath of humanity in the Feywilds. The player's objective is to become a capable realm walker, surviving and eventually thriving in the alternate dimensions, unlocking and navigating once broken portals to reach Nightingale, which is understood to be the last bastion of humanity. The stranded humans will be both aided and hindered by various factions of the Fae. The Summer and Winter Courts are the two primary Fae groups featured in Nightingale, the latter of the two being antagonistic toward humans, and creating warped mutilations known as the Bound to hunt players down. Players will be assisted and guided by the benevolent Fae Puck, featured in numerous Nightingale trailers. The Fae aren't the only inhabitants of the realm, however, as there have been humans over the centuries of exploration that abandoned Earth and set up shop in these other worlds. Players will come across both historical and fictional characters on their journeys as well, such as the real-life mathematician Ada Lovelace and the imagined Dr. Jekyll, along with his split persona, Mr. Hyde. Nightingale is an open-world survival game that can be played in either first or third person, solo or cooperatively with up to 6 players in a single party. On top of facing off against the magical creatures that inhabit the Fey Realms, with both ranged and melee combat options, players can craft weapons and tools, and build outposts and shelters to help them survive the wilds. At the heart of Nightingale's gameplay are realm cards. The infinite worlds that players can travel to are procedurally generated, but rather than there being a randomness to that procedural generation, players can have a hand in crafting those realities with the help of realm cards. During the course of the game, players can unlock recipes that they can then, in turn, use to craft different realm cards. Then, when taking those cards to a portal, the player can pick and choose from their deck to help craft the next world they step into. The realm cards break down into 3 categories: biomes, major, and minor. Biomes dictate the type of biome that the portal will open up to: a swamp, a desert, a forest, for example. Major cards will establish a major event that will dictate the reality of that biome. Biome and major cards can be played at portal machines, locking in the governing factors of the new realm on the other side. Once in that realm, minor cards can be used at realmic transmuters and make slight adjustments and tweaks to the new world in real time. Examples of these cards are a card that puts more of an emphasis on hunting, or a card that locks the day-night cycle in place so it's always either one or the other in that new world. The team insists that even if you use the same cards more than once to open a portal to a new world, you will never actually be stepping into the same realm as when you previously used that combination. Players can also designate a reality as a respite realm. This is the realm that players will return to if they ever die, without the ability to be resurrected, as well as the realm they can fast travel to and build their primary outpost, known as the Estate. Respite realms can also be shared by multiple players, so friends can all build their own estates in the same world. Players can then also decide to designate a new realm as their respite if they so choose. More realm cards will be added over time as the game evolves, and won't be locked behind monetization. Nightingale is being both developed and published by the independent studio Inflexion Games, headquartered in Edmonton, Canada. The company was founded in 2021 by its CEO Aaron Flynn, who previously had an extensive tenure as BioWare's general manager, the studio behind the Mass Effect and Dragon Age franchises. Nightingale is the studio's first game, with many on its over 100 plus team having also worked on those blockbuster series. The game was inspired by a book that both Flynn and Nightingale's art director Neil Thompson read called Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, written by Susanna Clarke and published in 2004. The titular characters are two Englishmen in the early 1800s who discovered that magic once existed in the world, and it was this story that formed the launching point for Nightingale. The game is set a little later in the 1800s, with the Victorian era being chosen for the rapid technological development that occurred during that time. In the lead up to the release of the game's early access, numerous betas and stress tests have been held over the years. Nightingale is out now for PC via Steam and the Epic Games Store at the price of $29.99 USD. And that's everything you need to know about Nightingale. For more on the game, stay tuned to GameSpot.